Hey guys, Dustin here, and welcome to another episode of Horroritis. So today we are talking about Hell House LLC and the sequel Hell House LLC 2 Abaddon Hotel. The reason I'm talking about both of these is because last year the first movie showed up on Shudder, I think, and then this year, just recently this month, the sequel came out. So I ended up watching them back to back for the first time. I'd never seen the original. And then a friend of the channel, Margie, she actually told me about it and said I should give them a watch. So I did. And this is what I thought. Before we move ahead, there will be spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, fair warning. So it's like 5 years after a malfunction of a haunted house where a bunch of tour goers and employees die, and nobody knows why. So 5 years later, a documentary crew goes to check it out. As it turns out, there's only like one piece of footage that ever got out, and it was from somebody inside, and you can't really tell what's happening. The girl's filming on her phone. She's going through this haunted house, and they get down to the basement of the haunted house, and suddenly everybody stopped and trying to get back up, and people are running, and then the next thing you know, a lot of people are dead. And so one of the employees hadn't been seen in 5 years. She just disappeared. So while this documentary crew is trying to figure out what's going on, this girl Sarah just kind of shows up for an interview. She just decides she's going to come forward, let them interview her, and she brings along a bunch of footage because the guys that were running the company that turned the old hotel into a haunted house, they wanted to film everything. They wanted to document the whole process, so there's a lot of stuff on tape. So the actual movie is all these pieces of footage from inside the haunted house from the guys that created it, and it's just kind of all pieced together. So it's more like a found footage movie for a while and not so much a documentary until the end, where they finally decide they're going to go to the haunted house, and one guy stays behind to keep archiving the footage. So the second movie is like 3 years on after that, and the one guy left from the original documentary crew, the one that stayed behind to archive all the footage and piece it all together and stuff, he released a documentary, and now he's doing like talk shows and interviews and stuff like that because due to events in the last one, he's the only one left from the documentary crew. He is approached by another kind of like a news documentary crew. They're kind of like an undercover group that take down crooked politicians and stuff like that. So they talk him into taking them to the hotel because he's been through all the footage. He knows the layout better than anyone just from all the video that he's gotten. So he agrees to take them, and then like the psychic shows up because he's determined that he can talk to all the ghosts and, TV psychic stuff, basically. So they all go, and they go inside, and it's exactly what you would expect from, kind of a haunted house movie at this point, yet it's still all found footage, which, if you know me, I'm not a huge fan of found footage movies, and it kind of annoys me. Ever since Blair Witch really killed it for me. But you'll be happy to know that nobody's running around screaming Josh for like an hour and a half in this movie, so that's okay. So with that being said, let's jump back to the beginning and get into the spoilers and why these movies are actually really very good and you should check them out. So the first movie, like I said, for a while it was like a found footage movie. It was just a bunch of clips from these guys running around filming as they're turning this hotel into a haunted house. So at first everything is normal. Then they start sleeping in the hotel as they're turning it into a haunted house. They're setting up effects and dummies and this and that. And there's like this one dummy that wears this clown mask, and it's a really, really good mask. Like, I like it a lot. So it's like I guess I would call it like the troublemaker ghost or whatever it is, because this dummy just kind of like appears in random places and it shouldn't, and it turns its head when it shouldn't. There's one scene that I really liked where the guy's holding the camera, he's walking through the house, and he gets to where the basement steps go down, and this dummy is standing there, this clown dummy, and the clown dummy's supposed to be in the basement, set up as it's supposed to be, and it's just kind of standing at the top of the stairs, and he's like, oh, haha, that's funny, and he goes, and he looks down the stairs because he thinks his buddy's down there, but his buddy isn't down there. So the camera turns back, and the clown its head has turned and is looking at him, and it freaks him out, and it was just a really, really good shot. So that dummy kind of like pops up all over the place, and then there's other things. They hear noises, of course, and at some point people start acting weird, and then eventually one of the guys disappears, and then he comes back, but he's like comatose, and then they've got like all of this little bits of footage here, and shows that stuff really was kind of messed up. In the end of the first movie, the documentary crew that's interviewing this girl, they ask her, if they can ask more questions or do whatever, and she says, well, she's tired and she wants to go take a nap, and they can find her in room 2C. They decide that they're going to go check out the hotel by themselves, and they go to leave a message for the girl in 2C. And the lady at the hotel, or the hotel that they're staying in, says, we don't have a 2C. Well, maybe she's confused. What room is this girl in? And they say, well, we don't have that girl here. So they say, whatever. And they go to this hotel, the Hotel Abaddon is what it's called, and they go in. Meanwhile, the one guy stays behind to archive all the other footage. And as he's watching the footage, he sees the death of the girl that they've been interviewing. So basically they've been interviewing a ghost, but he can't get a hold of the people who are actually inside the hotel now. So they're actually in the hotel, and they run across the evil spirits or whatever, and they go missing. So the first movie was actually really good. It's like I said, I'm normally not into documentary or found footage stuff, but this one actually kept me very entertained, and it was definitely worth a watch. The second one, not quite as good as the first one, yet not bad. And I'll tell you what threw me off right away is, as the first one was just a straight documentary. It was a film crew and an interview and found footage. This one starts off with a talk show. And that right there, I didn't want to see the talk show, and these guys are arguing about should people go to the hotel, should people stay away from the hotel, is it haunted, blah, blah, blah. So from there we cut to what's supposed to be a camera crew recording this one girl talking to another girl, and you can tell right away that it's all very scripted, it's very stiff, and none of what they're saying is natural. And immediately I thought, well, they ruined this. They killed the whole natural feeling vibe, and this movie's gonna suck. But later on, if you stick with it, you realize that while they were trying to be unscripted, they were actually scripting each other for their own private show. So it's like a show within a show. It's kind of stupid, but you realize that what felt not right was actually supposed to be not right. And then once they get away from that and actually get to the hotel where they're going, it feels a lot more real, and the found footage feeling comes back. However, this one has a lot of social media clips woven into it where, people try to go and explore, or, they're live streaming when they do it or whatever, and the footage always gets out. And this one actually explains why footage keeps getting out, why people, keep learning about this place. And it's because, the original hotel owner was actually like summoning demons or opening portals to hell and stuff like that. And now they just kind of have to keep replenishing with souls, so they have to keep luring people in. So they're basically sending ghosts out to lure people to the hotel so that they can have their souls. I feel like if they would have just left it with the first movie, the first movie left questions, but we weren't dying for those questions to be answered. This movie answered those questions, but the answer was not great. The second movie altogether has just a very completely different tone than the first movie, and while not bad, it's not as good as the first movie. The first movie is definitely better. Second movie's still good, and if you're gonna watch them, I suggest you watch them back to back to get the full story all at once. And if you're only going to watch one, watch the first one. All in all, though, these movies were definitely worth it. I would recommend them. I had a great time watching these movies, and normally found footage movies, they're really hard for me to enjoy, but I enjoyed both of these very much. So if you haven't seen them, I suggest you check them out. They're definitely worth it. So that's it for Hell House LLC and Hell House LLC 2 Abaddon Hotel. So if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down button. All interaction is good. Comment below, what did you think? Did you like the ending of the second? Did you like the whole explanation? That's what I want to know. What did you think of the explanation for the whole story? Let me know in the comments below. Also, drop any suggestions for other videos you'd like to see. Also, all of my social media links are in the description box, and if you haven't hit subscribe now, because I've got more videos coming very, very soon, and that is about it. So, as always, I'm Dustin, this was Horroritis, and until next time, keep it creepy.